weren't able to make it to Germany for some authentic German beer and sausage, not to mention check out all the incredible games that were on the Gamescom show floor? Not to worry, we've got 10 of the most exciting games from Gamescom 2022 right here. While you were all at home desperately salivating over the release of our new ultra-precise G502X collection, we were off in Cologne, Germany for Gamescom, where we got a first glimpse at dozens of incredible newly revealed games and an in-depth look into some already announced ones. We saw ambitious MMOs, long-awaited sequels, unexpected movie tie-ins, and a Soulslike inspired by the story of Pinocchio? Yeah. Gamescom really had it all. After getting a look at these exciting new games, we just can't wait to return to a long-missed point-and-click adventure island, paint some lovely models, and even explore a gorgeous wuxia open world. Let's not waste any more time. These are 10 of the most exciting games we saw at Gamescom 2022. Where else to start than with the jaw-droppingly terrifying Callisto Protocol? We've had a keen eye on this one since its reveal back in 2022, and our jaws have only gotten further down to the floor with each and every glimpse. Its most recent gameplay demo at Gamescom, however, was undoubtedly the most impressive, and is making us all the more impatient for its December 2022 release. This sci-fi themed survival horror is directed by Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield, and it certainly looks set to raise the bar on just how scary space can be. It looks like enemies can mutate if you fail to execute them properly, meaning that these freaky creatures can actually grow more terrifyingly powerful even after you've lopped off their head. We can't wait to be petrified with fear as we explore this infested space station on December 2nd. If you didn't quite see enough of the desert planet Arrakis in last year's cinematic adaptation of Frank Herbert's groundbreaking sci-fi novel Dune, then Dune Awakening should have enough sand to satiate your needs. Coming from Conan Exile's developer Funcom, this survival MMO dumps thousands of players into a shared world inspired by both the original novel and the recent movie, as they build their own shelters, bases, and factions. We imagine we'll be battling off gigantic sandworms too. Well, it just wouldn't be Dune without sandworms, would it? From one spacefaring galaxy to another, we're headed back to the strange and hectic world of Pandora. Gamescom 2022 offered us our first proper look at new Tales from the Borderlands, the sequel to, well, I guess we just call it Old Tales from the Borderlands? The original series from 2014 was one of the most charming interactive dramas on the market, with a rip-roaring soundtrack, lovable characters, and an unforgettable sense of humour. Oh, and did we mention an entire scene featuring a finger gun shootout? The long-awaited return to this format brings with it a cast of returning favourites, as well as newcomers to the franchise. Oh, and a gun with legs. Yeah, this is Borderlands, alright.
Shut up, Richard!
If you're more of a tabletop gamer, then Moonbreaker might be the title that finally draws you over to the mouse and keyboard. Developers Unknown Worlds Entertainment proudly revealed their latest project at Gamescom, and it's certainly not what we expected from the developer behind the underwater survival game Subnautica. Moonbreaker is a Warhammer-inspired miniature battling game in which you pit an army of tiny little model characters against each other in a fight to the death, relying on long-term tactical thinking to secure victory. A bit like a 3D Hearthstone. But why should you care about collecting any of these models? Well, the world and characters of Moonbreaker have been created by beloved fantasy author Brandon Sanderson, so you know you're in for a treat. Oh, and you can even paint your models to look exactly how you want. Time to go back to the 90s because Guybrush Threepwood is finally back in all of his point-and-click adventure glory with Return to Monkey Island. Oh, and you can play this latest adventure right now. We haven't seen this plucky pirate since 2009, but it's been even longer since we've been on a seafaring adventure with the original creator Ron Gilbert. who's finally returning to the franchise for the first time in 30 years. With Gilbert back at the helm of Return to Monkey Island, this adventure picks up directly where he left the series back in 1991. And the glimpse we got at Gamescom promised all the point-and-click adventure goodness that we've been desperately longing for in recent years, as well as plenty of the classic Monkey Island humour that you'd expect. Return to Monkey Island launched just a few days ago on September 19th, which also happened to be Talk Like a Pirate Day, but we'll leave that part to Threepwood.
I'm Guybrush Threepwood. Probably you've heard of me.
Probably not.
Permission to slaughter the annoying old wastrel man, Captain Madison.
Look, we know what you're thinking. You love all these Soulslike games, but you just desperately wish that someone would please make a Soulslike inspired by the story of Pinocchio. I know, me too. It's just an obvious pairing, isn't it? Well, developer NeoWiz has heard your cries and took to Gamescom to answer them with Lies of P. I mean, what more do we need to say? We'll be taking the reins, or strings, of Pinocchio as we explore a gorgeous world inspired by 1800s French architecture on a quest to find Geppetto, battling all sorts of mysterious beasts and bosses. And yeah, we know that that's a bonkers sentence, but hey, we're here for it. At least it's unique, eh? Ah, Dead Island 2. Here we are at last. In case you're out of the loop, the sequel to 2011's zombie-killing RPG was first revealed 8 years ago in 2014, and we were delighted to finally get a new look at gameplay as well as a release date at Gamescom. With the zombie invasion now shifting to Los Angeles, it looks like we'll be fighting off the undead horde in several beautiful iconic locations, as well as using all kinds of inventive new weapons and environmental hazards to put an end to the infected terror. Oh, and that's not to mention the weird and wonderful human characters that we'll be teaming up with and against. Let's just hope the infected aren't quite as strange. Open world fans, eat your heart out. Where the Winds Meet utterly blew us away with its gameplay reveal trailer, and believe us when we say, this looks set to be one of the most beautiful and unique worlds we've ever seen, and we're pretty sure that we'll be exploring it for hundreds of hours to see everything it has to offer. We'll be taking on the role of a wandering swordsman in the last days of the Ten Kingdoms era of Chinese history, utilising Tai Chi, martial arts, and incredible acrobatics to take down our foes in fast-paced battles. Where Winds Meet looks set to be a beautiful celebration of Wuxia mythology, and we just can't wait to hear more. Let's switch gears to the American frontier, but with a supernatural twist. Evil West is one of the few games on this list that's actually already released. You'll be stepping into the spurs of a vampire-hunting sharpshooter on a mission to rid the Wild West of the bloodthirsty monsters that are threatening humanity. Like any good cowboy, you'll be armed with your trusty revolver and rifle to blast away threats at a distance, but you've also got a giant mechanical arm to smash your foes' faces up close. Just like Clint Eastwood. And finally, with Halloween just around the corner, let's end on a bit of a spooky note, shall we? In a twist that absolutely nobody saw coming, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is the latest horror franchise to get the asynchronous multiplayer treatment. Following the precedent set by Friday the 13th, Predator Hunting Grounds, and Evil Dead the Game, this adaptation of the beloved horror cult classic sees players either running away from or taking control of 3 villainous alien clowns, who are on the hunt of 7 escaping players. You won't catch us in a rush to come face to face with these guys. So that's just 10 of the many incredible games we got to see at Gamescom 2022. Let us know what game you're most excited about from Gamescom, drop us a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to Logitech G for more features just like this one. If you already do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know exactly when our next video lands.